The human colony of Eden 6 was a jewel in the dark. It was not the richest world, nor the most powerful, but it was alive. Families filled the streets, farms stretched across the green plains, and children laughed under the twin suns. To the galaxy, Eden 6 was just another small human settlement. But to the people who lived there, it was home. Then, one night, everything ended. It began with the power grids. Lights across the cities flickered, then died. At first, the colonists thought it was a storm or a system failure. They waited for repairs. But then, communications dropped. Radios hissed with static. Satellites above the planet went dark, one after another. Fear spread. And then, silence. The sky above Eden 6 filled with fire. Alien warships appeared, sleek and cruel, like knives against the stars. They did not send warnings. They did not send demands. They only opened fire. Entire cities burned in seconds. Towers fell, homes crumbled, ships in the harbors exploded before they could even launch. Millions of voices cried out, but no help came. The Empire had made its move. When the first human rescue fleet arrived days later, there was nothing left but ruins. The colony was gone. Families were gone. The proud jewel of Eden 6 was now dust. The soldiers who landed on the planet walked through silent streets, seeing only ash and broken machines. The bodies of the fallen lay in the open, reminders of the massacre. News spread across the galaxy like wildfire. And with it, whispers. The Empire has finally struck. Humanity will break. They will beg for mercy. Aliens in distant star systems laughed. For years, they had seen humans as bold, yes, but small compared to the great powers. Many had warned humans not to push against the Empire's will. Now, with Eden 6 destroyed, they expected Earth to fall to its knees. But Earth did not kneel. On Earth, the leaders gathered in silence. The Great Council Hall was filled with admirals, generals, and representatives of every human nation. No one spoke at first. The images of Eden 6 still burned in their minds. A planet of their people, erased. Mothers, fathers, children, gone. At last, one of the commanders spoke. His voice was steady, but his eyes were cold. They think we will bow. They think we will surrender. Another general leaned forward. The Empire expects fear. They want us to bend. Silence again. Every man and woman in that chamber knew the truth. If they bowed now, if they surrendered, humanity would never rise again. The leader of Earth stood. His voice was calm, but heavy with resolve. Then let us show them. We will not bow. We will not kneel. We will answer. One word passed through the room, whispered at first, then spoken louder, then shouted. Retribution. Across the world, the call spread. Fleets were recalled from the far colonies. Shipyards that had slept for decades roared to life. Old weapons were pulled from vaults, and new ones were forged. Every nation, every colony, every soldier knew the truth. This was no longer about one planet. This was about the survival of all humanity. Families wept for those lost on Eden 6, but their grief became fire. Volunteers filled the ranks. Workers labored day and night, building ships faster than ever before. For the first time in history, humanity stood as one. The galaxy watched. Many expected Earth to crumble, to beg for forgiveness from the Empire. But the more they watched, the more they realized something terrifying. Humanity was not breaking. Humanity was preparing. In the dark halls of the Empire, alien lords mocked the humans. They are nothing, they said. One colony burned, and the rest will follow. But there was unease in their voices. For though they laughed, they had seen what humans did when cornered. On Earth, the commanders made their vow. We will not stop. We will not kneel. For Eden 6, we rise. And so the first steps of war began. Deep in the shipyards of Mars, massive frames of warships were lifted into orbit. On Earth's oceans, hidden factories rose from beneath the waves, spitting out engines of war. The colonies that survived sent their resources, their workers, their soldiers. It was as if all humanity had become one single machine, moving toward vengeance. But it was not just vengeance. It was survival. The humans knew that if they let the Empire's attack go unanswered, it would never end. The Empire would burn every world they had, one by one, until nothing remained. The only choice was to fight. And fight they would. Far above Earth, the first fleet gathered. Hundreds of ships at first, then thousands. Their hulls gleamed in the light of the sun. Soldiers looked out from the decks, their faces set with grim determination. None of them had forgotten the images of Eden 6. None of them would forgive. The Empire thought humanity would bow. They thought wrong. Eden 6 was gone. But in its ashes, something far greater had risen. A fire that would not die. A storm that would not be stopped. For the first time in history, humanity prepared not to defend, but to strike back. And in the war rooms of Earth, one word still echoed. Retribution. The destruction of Eden 6 echoed across the galaxy. Every star system, every trading hub, every council chamber carried the news. A human world had been burned to ash. The Empire did not hide it. They broadcasted the images themselves. Towers crumbling, families running, cities swallowed by fire. To them, it was not only an attack, it was a message. A warning. The Empire's voice spoke on every channel. See this world. See what happens to those who defy us. Humanity will bow, or humanity will burn. The galaxy trembled. But not in sympathy. On the far worlds, alien merchants shook their heads. The humans thought they were strong. One trader laughed in a crowded market. But they are ants before giants. The Empire has crushed them already. In the grand halls of the Orion Council, leaders of different alien nations whispered. Some feared what would come next, but many smiled. Humanity had risen too fast, too proud, they said. They had spread colonies far and wide, daring to claim space that had long belonged to others. Now, the Empire had humbled them. One alien ambassador sneered to his peers. Humans will beg. They always talk of bravery, but they bleed like the rest. The Empire has broken their spine. Others laughed. Some even celebrated. For years, humanity had been a thorn in their side, tough traders, stubborn fighters, impossible to control. Now, at last, someone had put them in their place. And yet, not everyone laughed. On the darker edges of the galaxy, smugglers and mercenaries whispered in low voices. They had fought humans before. They had seen the strange fire that burned in them, a fire unlike any other species. When cornered, humans did not surrender. They fought harder. They bit back. But those whispers were drowned out by the louder voices. Most of the galaxy expected humanity to do what weaker civilizations had done before: kneel, surrender, fade into silence. The Empire certainly thought so. In the great throne chamber of the Empire, the alien emperor sat high upon his black seat, draped in gold and steel. His generals bowed before him, their armor polished, their blades sharp. Eden 6 is gone, one general reported. The humans have been reminded of their place. The emperor's lips curled into a cruel smile. And how do they respond? The general hesitated. They gather their fleets. Factories are alive again. They prepare for war. The emperor laughed, the sound cold and heavy. Let them prepare. They cannot match us. Their fleets are toys compared to our armadas. Their courage will turn to dust once we strike again. The generals joined in the laughter, their voices filling the chamber. They saw humanity not as an enemy, but as prey. Back on Earth, however, silence ruled. In the war councils, human leaders studied the broadcasts. They heard the alien voices mocking them, saw the laughter spreading across the stars. But they did not answer with words. Not yet. Instead, they planned. On Mars, giant shipyards thundered with life. The skeletons of warships hung in orbit, growing larger each day. Engineers worked without rest, their hands covered in oil and burns, but they did not stop. They knew what was at stake. On the moon, secret weapons were tested, blinding flashes of light that shook the craters, weapons humanity had sworn never to use. But now, all promises were broken. In hidden bases across the solar system, soldiers drilled until their bodies ached. New recruits arrived in waves: miners, farmers, traders, students, all ready to fight. Their faces were grim, but their eyes burned with the memory of Eden 6. Still, the galaxy mocked. Alien news networks broadcasted debates. Humanity cannot win, one analyst declared. They are too few, too weak. The Empire is eternal. Another added, even if they build ships, it will not matter. Against the Empire's fleets, they will fall like leaves in a storm. And everywhere, the same words were spoken. Humans will bow. Humans will break. But behind closed doors, Earth's leaders whispered differently. We will not bow. We will not break. We will show them. Days turned to weeks, and the preparations grew. The galaxy saw only glimpses, a new fleet moving here, a convoy of ships vanishing into deep space there. They thought humans were scrambling in fear, desperate to defend what little remained. They were wrong. The humans were not just defending. They were building something greater. In the underground chambers of Earth, maps glowed with red lines and blue markers. Strategies formed, plans sharpened. Humanity was not moving blindly. They were preparing a storm, one the galaxy had never seen before. And yet, no one believed. Not the traders in the markets. Not the politicians in their chambers. Not the generals of the Empire. All of them mocked, laughed, dismissed. Only a few, watching quietly from the shadows, felt the truth creeping in. Something was coming. Something vast. But by the time the galaxy realized it, it would already be too late. For in the silence of Earth's war rooms, the leaders spoke the same word again, the word that carried the weight of Eden 6, the word that would soon shake the stars. Retribution. The galaxy mocked. The Empire celebrated. Alien councils laughed. And in the shadows of the solar system, Earth built. Factories across Mars never slept. Gigantic ship frames hung in orbit, glowing with the heat of welding beams. Workers in heavy suits floated among the steel skeletons, piecing together hulls as long as cities. Supply freighters moved back and forth like bees in a hive, carrying metals stripped from asteroids, engines forged in underground forges, and weapons so secret that even the workers building them didn't know their true power. The noise of construction filled the void of space. And yet, the galaxy saw nothing. Because Earth had learned a lesson long ago, never show your full hand. To the outside worlds, it looked like humanity was only repairing what was left of its broken fleets. Alien spies caught glimpses of small shipyards, old destroyers being patched, and tired crews drilling. Pathetic, the reports said. They are scrambling to defend themselves. They cannot last long. The Empire's generals laughed when they read these reports. Let them waste their scraps, one commander said. Our next strike will crush them completely. But the spies never saw what was hidden deeper. In the shadowed orbit of Jupiter, humanity had carved out shipyards so massive they could not be seen from normal scans. Rings of steel stretched wider than moons. Thousands of workers lived and died there, never returning home, their only mission to forge the greatest fleet ever known. Every day, ships rolled out from these secret yards. Battleships with cannons larger than skyscrapers. Carriers with enough fighters to blacken the sky. Cruisers armed with weapons that hummed with untested energy. And then there were the dreadnoughts. Each one was a monster of steel, kilometers long, armored so heavily that entire alien fleets could not pierce them. When the first dreadnought powered up, its engines glowed like a second sun over Jupiter. Workers wept when they saw it move. It was not just a ship, it was a fortress, a promise of vengeance. Earth had ordered 500,000 of them. The galaxy did not know. On Saturn's icy moons, secret bases trained pilots in silence. They learned to fly in the crushing storms of gas giants, in the darkness of rings, in the radiation belts that fried alien sensors. When the time came, these pilots would strike like lightning, unseen and unstoppable. On Neptune's hidden outposts, scientists worked on weapons no one had dared to imagine. Beams that could slice through armor like paper. Cannons that could split planets. Mines that could wait for centuries in the dark and still kill. All of this was hidden. To the galaxy, Earth was weak, broken, desperate. To humanity, Earth was becoming a storm. Yet still, the Empire laughed. In their throne chamber, the Emperor leaned back and waved away reports. The humans build ships, a general said. The emperor's smile was cruel. They build toys. And we will burn their toys just as we burned their colony. They did not know the truth. They did not see the dreadnoughts. They did not hear the silence of the workers who swore never to speak. They did not understand the fire burning in human hearts. Because every worker remembered Eden 6. Every soldier remembered the screams. Every leader remembered the ashes. Humanity was not just building ships. They were building vengeance. But vengeance alone was not enough. Earth's leaders gathered in the War Council once more. Maps glowed on the table, showing the positions of enemy fleets, the trade routes of alien allies, the hidden choke points of the galaxy. One general pointed. Here, at the Kepler corridor. If we strike here, we cut off 3 of their supply chains. Another shook her head. No. First we must draw them in, make them believe we are weak. Then we close the trap. The council argued, voices low but sharp. Plans turned into counterplans, traps into countertraps. Humanity did not only prepare ships, they prepared strategies. Every possible move of the Empire was studied, broken down, and answered. The galaxy saw nothing. Weeks turned into months. Rumors spread across the stars. Traders whispered of strange convoys moving in the dark, of human warships appearing in places they should not be. But when questioned, no one could prove it. It is nothing, alien leaders said. The humans are broken. But deep inside, some began to feel it. A shadow moving. A storm gathering. A silence too heavy to ignore. And then, one day, far from Earth, in the uncharted void, an alien patrol ship stumbled upon something it was never meant to see. At first, the scanners screamed with static. Then the patrol ship cleared the interference and saw it, an armada stretching across the stars. Row after row of dreadnoughts, battleships, and carriers, more than anyone thought humanity could ever build. 500,000 ships, their engines glowing in silence, waiting. The alien crew froze. They had never seen anything like it. It was not a fleet, it was an ocean of steel. Before they could even send a warning, human ships surrounded them. Silent. Cold. Deadly. The last thing the alien captain saw was a wall of dreadnoughts moving like shadows. And then, nothing. The galaxy still laughed. Still mocked. Still believed humans would bow. But in the darkness, the secret armadas were ready. And when they moved, the galaxy would remember forever. The galaxy thought humans were quiet. Broken. Hiding in their little blue world, licking their wounds. But silence is dangerous. And silence can be the sound before thunder. On the edge of the Empire's territory, in a system called Valara, alien fleets gathered. Hundreds of warships floated proudly above the colonies they had stolen. The skies burned with banners of victory. The aliens feasted and drank, laughing about the fragile humans. Soon, one commander boasted, Earth itself will bow. Their fleets are nothing. Their colonies crumble. Humanity is finished. The soldiers cheered. No one looked at the stars beyond. No one wondered why the human border had grown so still. Then it began. At first, the Valara outpost detected only faint signals. Tiny pings, like whispers. The operators leaned closer to their scanners. Just debris, one muttered. Another frowned. Wait. No, those are engines. Many engines. Before the alarm could even sound, the stars lit up. Human ships came out of the void in perfect silence. Dozens at first, then hundreds. Then thousands. Their formation was flawless, so sharp it looked like a blade cutting through space. At the front, dreadnoughts led the charge. Their hulls glowed with the fire of their engines, their cannons already powering up. Behind them, carriers released swarms of fighters, blackening the void like a storm cloud. Cruisers moved into flanking positions, ready to cut off escape. It was not a battle fleet. It was an executioner's blade. The Valara commanders screamed orders. Shields up. Fire everything. Alien ships scrambled, powering weapons, raising defenses. The sky filled with streaks of plasma and laser fire. Explosions shook the blackness. But the humans did not break. The first dreadnought fired. One shot, just one, tore through 3 alien cruisers in a single line. The explosion blinded sensors, burning white across every screen. The second dreadnought fired, and a battleship vanished in flames. Alien officers froze. "That's impossible," they cried. Their weapons could not even scratch the dreadnought armor. Every human ship moved with brutal precision, every strike landing exactly where it would hurt the most. And then, the fighters arrived. Swarms of them, diving like hawks. They slipped past alien shields, weaving through defenses with impossible speed. One by one, enemy ships erupted under their fire. The Valara fleet, once so proud, so certain, was being torn apart piece by piece. In the command deck of the largest dreadnought, Admiral Kane stood in silence. His face was calm, his voice steady. "No survivors," he ordered. "Let them learn. Let the galaxy hear silence from Valara." The officers obeyed. Human warships pressed harder, faster. Alien cries filled the comms. Some begged for mercy, others screamed in rage. None were answered. Within hours, the Valara fleet was gone. What remained of the alien colonies fell next. Human dropships descended, their boots striking the ground. Soldiers raised the old banners of Earth, not for conquest, but for justice. The colonies that had been enslaved were freed. Survivors wept as human marines broke open the prisons, carrying children and the wounded into the light. "Earth has not forgotten you," the soldiers told them. For the first time, the galaxy saw that humanity was not hiding. Humanity was striking back. Far away, the Empire's throne room shook with panic. Reports flooded in. Valara had fallen. The fleet was destroyed. An entire system lost in a single night. "This is a trick," the Emperor hissed. "The humans cannot have this power." But the generals looked at one another in silence. Because the scans were clear. The reports were undeniable. Humanity had not sent scraps. Humanity had sent a fleet so vast, so powerful, that even the Empire's strongest system had been crushed like paper. Whispers spread through the council chambers. "How many ships do they have? Where did they build them? How can this be?" No one had answers. Meanwhile, across neutral worlds, traders and smugglers carried rumors. They say Earth sent 500,000 ships. They say dreadnoughts larger than cities burned Valara. They say the humans fight like demons, with no fear, no mercy. The galaxy began to tremble. Back on Earth, the War Council met again. Holograms of the fallen Valara system glowed above the table. Generals and admirals stood in silence. Admiral Kane's voice was low but firm. "The first strike is done. The Empire knows we are coming. Now, they will throw everything they have at us." A general leaned forward. "Then we strike harder. We will not stop until they regret ever touching Eden 6. The Council's decision was clear: no retreat, no surrender. Humanity would carry the war to the Empire's heart. And for the first time, the galaxy understood. Humans were not broken. Humans were not begging. Humans were rising. In the darkness of space, the armadas moved again. The first strike had been only the beginning. The storm of humanity was just getting started. The galaxy shook after Valara. For the first time in centuries, the Empire had lost. Not just a battle, an entire system. Whispers turned into fear. Fear turned into panic. And panic turned into fury. In the high throne chamber of the Empire, the Emperor's eyes burned with rage. His voice cracked like thunder. "Humanity dares. They think themselves equal. Then let the stars remember the weight of our anger. Summon every fleet. Every soldier. Every weapon. Crush them until their world is dust." The order spread like fire through the Empire. Worlds trembled as armories opened, as shipyards launched wave after wave of warships. Millions of soldiers were pulled from their homes. Generals swore oaths of vengeance. Soon, the greatest fleet the galaxy had ever seen gathered. 10,000 battleships. Countless cruisers. Carriers larger than cities. It was a storm of steel and fire, burning toward human space. The Empire would show no mercy. On Earth, the warning came quickly. Deep space scouts detected the movement. Alarms filled the war rooms. The human leaders studied the reports in silence. The Empire was coming. And this time, they would not underestimate humanity. Admiral Kane stood at the head of the council, his face calm but hard. Valara was the beginning. But this is their true hand. They will throw everything at us. Can we stop them? One officer whispered. Kane's eyes never wavered. We will. Or we die standing. The Empire's fleet crossed the border like fire sweeping through dry grass. They smashed through human listening posts, shattered satellites, and burned supply stations. Every step closer to Earth was marked with fire. The galaxy watched in silence. On neutral worlds, traders whispered. The humans were strong, yes, but no one can stand against the full Empire. Others shook their heads. The humans are not like us. They fight differently. They don't surrender. No one knew which side was right. The first clash came at the Aerion Belt, a human-held system guarding the path to Earth. The Empire arrived with overwhelming power. Thousands of ships filled the skies, their cannons blazing. Asteroids cracked apart under the storm of fire. Human defenses fell one by one. On the ground, colonies screamed as alien marines poured down. Cities burned. Towers collapsed. The Empire believed it had won. But then, the humans revealed their trap. From the shadows of the asteroid field, hundreds of cloaked human dreadnoughts activated. Their massive cannons fired in unison, splitting apart battleships like toys. Mines hidden within the rocks detonated, tearing entire fleets to pieces. Fighters swarmed from carriers, slicing through the confusion. Human soldiers rose from bunkers below the surface, striking back with brutal precision. The battle turned into chaos. Alien generals screamed orders, but nothing worked. Their numbers meant nothing in the narrow fields of the Aerion Belt. Every asteroid hid a weapon, every corner a trap. The Empire had expected humans to stand and break. Instead, humans fought like shadows, appearing, striking, and vanishing again. For every human ship lost, 5 Empire ships burned. In the command ship, an alien admiral slammed his claws against the console. How? How can they resist this? The answer came over the comms, cold, steady, human voices. You should have left us in peace. Now you will learn why humanity endures. And then the dreadnoughts fired again. The battle raged for 3 days. By the end, the Aerion Belt was a graveyard of wreckage. Thousands of Empire ships drifted in silence, their flames lighting the black sky. But the cost was heavy. Hundreds of human ships were gone. Thousands of soldiers never returned. Admiral Kane stood on the bridge, watching the wreckage. His face was carved from stone. Send a message, he ordered. What message, sir? An officer asked. Kane's eyes narrowed. Tell the Empire, we are not afraid. Far away, in the Empire's throne world, the reports arrived. The Emperor's rage turned to something worse, doubt. For the first time in his long reign, he realized the truth. Humanity would not be broken. They would not surrender. And every system the Empire touched would bleed for it. Yet even as humans celebrated their narrow victory, Kane knew the truth. This is only the beginning, he whispered to his officers. The Empire will not stop. They will return, stronger, faster, more ruthless. The council fell silent. So what do we do? One officer asked. Kane turned toward the hologram of Earth. The blue planet spun slowly, fragile yet unyielding. We finish this war. We don't just defend. We strike. The decision was made. Humanity would not wait for the Empire to come again. Humanity would carry the fire into the Empire's heart. The galaxy had never seen silence like this. After the Battle of the Aerion Belt, both sides waited. The Empire licked its wounds, building new fleets, swearing vengeance. Humanity buried its dead, reforged its ships, and whispered one word in every war room: strike. For centuries, the Empire had crushed rebellions with ease. No one had ever dared to carry war to their throne world. But humanity was not like the others. And so the plan began. The day came when every human fleet left its hidden ports. From moons, from shipyards, From the dark corners of space, they emerged. One fleet became 10. 10 became 100. 100 became 500. 500,000 dreadnoughts filled the skies, their engines burning like suns. Around them swarmed carriers, destroyers, and endless fighters. The galaxy watched in stunned silence. No one had ever seen such power gathered. Not even the Empire. On the bridge of the Eternal Resolve, Admiral Kane stood tall, his voice steady. "This is not just revenge," he told his officers. "This is survival. Today, the galaxy learns humanity will never bow." With a single word, advance, the human fleet surged forward. The Empire tried to stop them. At the borders, massive defense fleets awaited. Thousands of ships blocked the path. But the humans did not slow. The dreadnoughts unleashed storms of fire, cutting through enemy lines like paper. Missiles rained. Fighters swarmed. EMP blasts tore enemy systems apart. Empire admirals screamed orders, but one by one, their fleets broke. The humans pushed deeper. World after world fell silent. Empire colonies that had once laughed at humanity now trembled. Some surrendered without a fight. Others resisted, but their defenses crumbled. The humans left no path open. They moved like a storm, carving straight toward the throne world. Every battle told the same story. The Empire was vast. The Empire was strong. But humanity was unstoppable. At last, the throne world itself came into sight. Billions lived on that planet. Towers stretched into the sky. Armies stood ready. Above it hung the Imperial fleet, the last great defense, 20,000 battleships, the pride of the Empire. It was the largest gathering of alien power in history. But against 500,000 human warships, it was nothing. The battle that followed was not a fight, it was an ending. The sky burned as dreadnoughts fired in endless waves. Imperial battleships shattered, one after another. Carriers exploded. Fighters fell in storms of light. Human ground forces stormed the surface, city by city. Tanks rolled across the golden streets of the capital. Marines tore down the banners of the Empire and raised the flag of Earth. The people of the Empire, once so proud, could only watch as their rulers fell. In the great palace, the Emperor stood at his balcony, watching the sky burn. For centuries, he had ruled through fear. Now, fear came for him. Human soldiers marched through the palace gates. Their boots echoed in the golden halls. At the front, Admiral Kane stepped forward, his eyes cold. "The age of the Empire is over," Kane said. The Emperor trembled, his crown slipping from his claws. He whispered, almost in disbelief, "We thought you would bow." Kane's voice was steady, sharp as steel. "Humanity bows to no one." And so it ended. The Empire, which had ruled the stars for 1,000 years, fell in a single generation. Its fleets burned. Its rulers silenced. Its worlds freed. The galaxy stood in awe. For the first time, the stars had a new order, not an empire, but something different. An alliance. In the days that followed, human fleets did not enslave or conquer. Instead, they offered peace to every world the Empire had crushed. "We fight only for freedom," Kane declared to billions across the stars. Worlds that had once feared humanity now looked to Earth with respect and even hope. The galaxy had changed forever. Back on Earth, as the fleets returned, the people gathered under the open sky. 500,000 warships hung in orbit, symbols of defiance and survival. Children pointed to the stars, whispering, "We are safe now." Elders cried tears of relief. And in every heart, the truth burned bright: humanity had not just survived. Humanity had risen. 4 centuries to come, stories would be told of that war. Stories of the colony that was lost. Stories of the fleet that rose. Stories of the day 500,000 dreadnoughts ended an empire. And always, the same lesson echoed. They thought humanity would bow. But humanity stood, and the galaxy would never forget.